Hello everyone and welcome back to the Bantamweight Boxing YouTube channel with me, your host, Michael Waite. And as you can probably see from the title below, I'm calling out Tyson Fury, proper gypsy style. I want you, Tyson Fury, in my back garden, any place, anytime, anywhere, I'll have you. Obviously, no, I'm not doing that, Tyson. Don't take that too seriously. But I did want to make this video kind of saying my problem with Tyson Fury right now. But before I do get into that, obviously I want to say I'm a massive fan of Tyson Fury, all right? So I know it sounds a bit contradictory about what I'm going to go on to say, but I do got a lot of love for Tyson Fury. He's brought us some wicked nights in boxing history, with the Klitschko win, coming out of nowhere, dethroning, the great Klitschko, ending that boring era, if you will. And then coming out of retirement, fighting Deontay Wilder when no one else was really going anywhere near him, having 3 wicked trilogies with him, obviously creating that Rocky moment of him, shout out Rocky, that Rocky moment of him getting off the canvas on that 10 count, just all those kind of moments. So I do have a lot of love for Tyson Fury, but recently it's kind of starting to go a bit downhill, and I think he's losing a lot of love in the boxing community. Now, it all kind of started with after AJ had, who had AJ just fought? God, I've got to turn back the memory now. Andy Ruiz. So he just beaten Andy Ruiz in the rematch, has got the majority of the belts. Fury then just goes and beats Wilder for the 3rd time, ending that trilogy, and then you're setting up for that amazing moment of that unification of AJ and Fury, and you're just like, this is what boxing's all about. Especially as a British fight fan, you're going to see 2 heavyweight titans of their era going up against it in a proper British boxing brawl, if you will. Somewhere in, could have been Wembley or whatever, unification fight. But unfortunately, it all kind of fell apart. Now, with that falling apart, I'm not blaming Tyson Fury for that, and I'm not blaming AJ for that initial fall through. There's a lot that goes on behind closed doors, and it just maybe wasn't the right time and didn't work out. And I'm sure both sides had a part to play in that. I'm not blaming Tyson or AJ for that. It's complicated. I'll never know as a fight fan. I'm not in the mix of the boxing world, so I'll never know myself. But it fell through, and I was obviously gutted like many other fans were. But we got a bit of a saving grace when we saw the other fights that we were going to get as a result of that. AJ was going to fight Usyk, who was, an unknown kind of entity, or what level he was at heavyweight, but we knew he was a serious deal, and that was going to be an interesting fight. And then eventually Tyson Fury went on to fight Dillian Whyte. And for me, I thought that was a brilliant fight. I thought Dillian Whyte, again, had a lot left in the tank, very dangerous opposition, not an easy fight at all. So I was respect to both the fighters, even though we didn't get that amazing clash. Still got 2 really good fights as a result of it. Now, those kind of sagas have now ended. AJ obviously losing against Usyk and Fury beating Whyte very comfortably. No need for a rematch there. So it now comes to more modern day, or current day, should I say. And the negotiations started off very positively, with Fury sending over a contract almost out of nowhere, of saying, you know what, AJ, I'll give you a shot. Here's a contract, 60-40 split, reasonable offer. Seemed like loads of the other conditions of the contract were quite reasonable. And AJ hit back very soon after saying, I agree to it. So I'm thinking, wow, this is very measured for 2 heavyweight nutters. They seem to be getting on with the negotiations, and we might actually see this fight. Obviously, a part of me was holding back, knowing what boxing is really like, but we could all dream. Then it all started to go downhill, and this is where my criticism of Tyson Fury really begins. He out of nowhere sets a deadline for AJ, giving him like a 2-day deadline or something, and says, sign the contract by 5 p.m. on Monday. Now, everyone at the time was a bit like, what? Everything's been so positive. Why the hell are you just bringing this deadline out of nowhere? You know, AJ even responded saying, look, I want the fight, but there's legal stuff I need to go through. We're talking about over £100 million here, you know, big paydays, right? There's a lot of legal stuff I need to go through, make sure we get this right. You know, they can only do this fight once, and it needs to be at the right stage, you know, right TV rights, all of that stuff, right? And obviously that deadline comes and goes and nothing gets signed, and Fury kind of throws his toys out the pram, says, all right, it's over, the fight's not happening. Then I think Frank Warren kind of softened up Fury a little bit. I don't know how. I'm surprised he really listens to Frank Warren, but managed to kind of calm it down a little bit. And negotiations carried on. But Fury being Fury, another deadline set. This is obviously a little bit later on. Now, in defense of Fury, he obviously wants, he obviously allegedly wanted this fight to take place and was keen for it to get going. So fair enough, he's setting deadlines. He wants to make it, wants to get moving. He's, hasn't fought for a while now, and he wants his date set in place. So fair enough, he's setting the deadlines or whatever. But again, this deadline comes, and as we're building up to this deadline, he's calling out AJ, doing the whole shebang he does on social media. Oh, you're never going to sign it. You're a waster. Da, 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 da. And then starts calling out Emmanuel Charr. Now, I know who Emmanuel Charr is barely, right? I follow boxing, but, if you don't really follow boxing, you're probably like, who the hell is this guy? And he starts calling out him, and they start going back and forth. And everyone's thinking, you're not being serious right now. Like, this guy's a joke of a fighter. This guy's nowhere near a top 10 boxers, heavyweight boxers right now. The guy's barely fought. And, the box community is like, what's going on with this? And I think Tyson Fury was almost, surprisingly, was shocked at the backlash he got. Battery's nearly died, but we're good. I think Tyson Fury was almost shocked about the backlash he got for calling out Emmanuel Charr. And then said, all right, no, I'm not fighting Emmanuel Charr. I'm not fighting him. Derek Chisora, do you want the fight? Now, this is all going on while the negotiations with AJ's are going on. And now it's come out that Fury said his second deadline's passed. It's over with AJ, and he sent out a contract to Chisora. And we know that's official because obviously Eddie Hearn manages Chisora. So where my issue is, and where I've got a problem is, how can you be calling out Chisora, right, who you've beaten twice convincingly, like, almost man versus boy in those fights, boring as hell. And that was about, 5 years ago, or however long it was. So Chisora has not got any better since then. So A, you're calling out a guy that you beat convincingly, which is just a bit like, all right, it's just a bit boring. B, you're calling out Chisora, not setting any time frames for him. So you'll still have to go through the whole same process you're going through with AJ right now. So you're not going to speed it up. You're not going to fight any sooner with Chisora than you would with AJ, because you've only just sent the contract out and Chisora's not even reviewed it. Also, with that contract, Chisora has shown no kind of willingness to fight Fury. He's been asked about it and has kind of been like, well, why do I want to fight him? Yeah, it's probably a good payday, but I think he's pretty honest that he's going to get his ass whooped, and it's not really up for that. So it's not going to speed up the process at all. And then C, the contract is with the same promoter, Eddie Hearn, that you're doing the whole AJ contract with. So you've just spent ages complaining about Eddie Hearn, saying, he's messing you around, they're not serious about the fight. And then you go and send the contract again to Eddie Hearn for Chisora. So you're still dealing with the same promoter. So I don't see, it just seems a bit funny to me. And you have to question, how much did Fury really want this AJ fight? Looking at it from a logical standpoint, as I've said in some of my other videos, I could understand why he wouldn't want the fight. You've got a heavyweight belt. AJ's a dangerous fighter still, can hit hard, and also now has got this mentality of nothing to lose. AJ's a nobody now. Well, he's not a nobody, but he hasn't got any belts. So, and he's lost his last two fights. So he's going in there with no pressure. And if he loses, whatever. But for Fury, there's everything to lose. He's still got, he's fingertips away from that unification fight with Usyk. So why would you take the AJ fight? If I was advising him as a promoter, I would say, look, mate, AJ's not going anywhere. Your fight with AJ is so big that you could have it when you're 50 years old in wheelchairs and people would still tune into it. So let's put that fight to one side. Let's get this unification fight with Usyk. And if we need a tick over, let's take a tick over. Let's fight an Emmanuel Char. Let's fight a Derek Chisora. Yeah, the fans are going to give you some stick for it, but you fight them and then you get the big unification fight and you go down in history. Well, you have a chance to if you can beat Usyk. So I get it from Tyson Fury, but I think what's frustrating and where it annoys the fans is he kind of treats us like we're stupid. Like, we know we can see what your game plan is. Like, you want to fight Usyk. You're not that interested in fighting AJ. So stop wasting your breath and saying, oh, AJ doesn't want it. And then while you're in negotiation with AJ, you send a contract to someone else. So I think that's really my issue. Is like, I think if he was just a bit more transparent and said, look, I don't really want AJ right now, I don't think people would mind too much. They'd see he's got a bigger goal, a bigger ambition right now. But it's just the kind of lying and, saying they're going to fight and then it breaks down and then there's a new opponent the next day. And you can't help but feel like, are you doing this, Fury, because it's such good publicity? All the boxing community have been talking about the last month or so is AJ Fury. And Fury's a smart guy. He knows he needs to continue to build that profile for his next fights, etc. And it just feels like, he's kind of using the AJ name. Now, the whole caveat to this is we will never really know what the negotiations were like. Does AJ really want the fight? I think personally, I think he probably does want the fight. But does his team around him want the fight? Now, that's the big question. Does Eddie Hearn want the fight right now? Would he rather see AJ rebuild? Who knows? But yeah, just the kind of been a bit... I'm sure Tyson Fury's not going to watch this video and be upset that, oh God, Michael Waite, is upset about me. I'm sure he's not particularly bothered. But I just wanted to voice my opinion of say it's just getting a bit annoying. But we'll see. Maybe the fight will happen. I highly doubt it. I think we probably will see Chisora next. I think Fury will put a big lump of money in front of Chisora and he'll go, fuck it, I'll take it. One more fight, I'll go out with a bang. We'll see. The bang being him probably getting knocked the fuck out. But we'll see. Anyway, a bit of a longer video, a bit of a rant. But I hope you guys enjoyed. If you did, please do like and subscribe. Support the channel. I'm having a lot of fun making these videos and all these call outs. So yeah, enjoy the rest of your day and see you later.